Hello everybody, my name is Cool Blue and I'm bringing you guys this video of me talking about the live streaming box here in front of us. This is the continuation, this is video number 4 in the series, so if you have not seen the previous videos, feel free to check those out. But this video was inspired by a question that I actually got on a Reddit thread where the person asked the question of, hey, curious to know, why did you not use a smaller recorder like the H8 or the H6? It said they like the approach and everything, but that's pretty much it. So based on that question, I wanted to actually do this video to go over the original thing that started this entire long trail of hilarious changes and modifications to get to the box that we're currently at. And when I say hilarious, I mean hilariously expensive, because boy, was this not cheap. Um, but this box itself is maybe about a $1,200 box in total. Once you consider all the components, this is 450, 300 sets of Rode mics, a $90 phone, $180 worth of shotgun mics, and then a $150 Pelican case. It adds up really, really, really fast. However, my finances aside, this is my Christmas present to myself, I guess, or my holiday present, I should say. My finances aside, this box itself did take a little bit to actually get to, and it did originally start as a very simple H5N plus H2N build, and I'm actually going to show it off now. So if you have not seen this box, this is what it looks like. This is what it currently consists of. It seems consistent, it seems stable. We'll see how it works. There might be a video 5 of me talking about how it worked out in the field. But for right now, we'll put this to the side and we'll bring on the original. I did take the time to go back and rebuild the original box. I did still have the components to rebuild the original box, and I actually think I need a component from the current box, which is just going to be one of the Rhodes, and also this cable. And then we can go ahead and talk about what the box used to look like, or at least where it started at. So, never forget your starting story. Never forget your beginnings, right? So inside of this box, we have kind of a hodgepodge of cables, but the main thing to show is that this is what it kind of started off as, and it evolved over time to become the box that we just saw a few moments ago. So in this box, what we had was a Zoom H5 recorder, and we had a Zoom H2 recorder. We had a power bank. We had a power strip, or a USB, not power strip, sorry, a USB hub, a powered USB hub. And then we had the Rode, which was also over here, and some other various components. And I just want to explain this box just to talk through a few things. So to answer the question as directly as possible, yes, you absolutely can build a very similar build, or somewhat more portable build, I should say, using the Zoom H6N, which I don't have. I do not currently own one of those, so it was not an option for me specifically. But you can use the Zoom H6N. And then kind of set up your own little podcast setup from that. There's actually a video that I remember seeing, and I'll link in the description below if I can relocate, or if I can locate it. But it's a video that I saw where somebody built a mic stand out of the Zoom H6N, and basically it took advantage of the fact that that on the Zoom H6N it has a tripod mount, so they connected a cheese plate to it, and they put their transmitters on the back, and gave everybody their mics, and you were able to just connect that directly to it. It was very clever, very, very cool, and if I could go back and rebuild this entire thing, I might still build what I end up building ultimately, but also might also try to build that too. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, I might build that in the future just because. We'll see if the finances hold up, but I'm pretty sure I have to wait until like summer before I can actually buy any new projects pieces. But like I said, my finances aside, looking into this build though, if you do want to build a more compact and smaller version, yes, you can do it with the Zoom H6N. You can do it with 2 sets of Rhodes, or you can do it with just normal XLR mics, and you can also get really good sound and quality because the Zoom H6N is capable of doing everything in its own box as far as merging channels and everything. The unfortunate issue with this build, and the reason why it kind of escalated to the level it did, was because the Zoom H5N, while a great recorder, did not have the ability to give me all the flexibility I need. So more specifically, I have the ability to record 4 separate channels, but I do not have the ability to kind of merge all those channels into one and get the output straight from the device. So because of that, it caused an issue, because my ideal workflow is to be able to just kind of sit it on the table, press record everybody, and then just upload the podcast straight there. Or if we want to do a live stream, we can do a live stream with 4 different guests or 4 different speakers. But the problem is that because the channels will be panned left and panned right, and the recorder itself did not have the feature to actually merge the channels, it caused issues. Now, just to clarify, on the Zoom H5n, it does have the ability. It does have the ability to take two mono channel, or sorry, take one stereo channel and convert it to mono. More specifically, if I turn on only the channel 1 and channel 2 over here, if I turn on only those channels, and I can change the settings to record the stereo, so record them separate, but then merge them on the output. It gives me that ability, which is nice, but I need it for all 4 channels, and the Zoom H5n unfortunately only has it for those 2 channels. So I could not get it for the capsule channels, the capsule X and Y channels. So because of that, it turned out that, it became a journey to find out how to merge the channels, and that journey was comprised of, one, taking the audio that was coming out from the Zoom H5n and putting it into a Saramonic AX1. So Saramonic AX1 was a really cool find. It's about a $50 device. I think it's nice to have it just because nowadays. But basically, it can take two left and right channels and merge them into one stereo out or one mono out. So more specifically, I'm coming in with channels pan to the left and pan to the right. So there's 4 audio tracks. There's 2 to the left, 2 to the right, and it's going into the AX1. And when it goes through the AX1 can convert all that into a mono and then push it out as a mono track, which is nice. So, audibly speaking, your speakers won't hear somebody's voice on the left and then somebody else's voice on the right. It'll hear all the voices kind of equally distributed across the entire channel, and that's what I wanted. The issue with that, because this $50 solution came with its own set of problems, the issue with that is that it has attenuation on it. So it basically reduced the volume output that I was getting from the device. So because of that, I need some way to increase the volume so you can actually hear it at a reasonable level, so I can just go straight to recording. Now, once again, my goal is to be able to sit down, press record on the various things, record everything, and then take the raw file and just post it directly. So because I want to have less post-production steps, led me down this path to begin with. So in order to get the volumes to get up to a reasonable level, or reasonably hearable level, I took the recording from the Saramonic and I put it into my H2n, which I've had this H2n for about 10 years now. Maybe that's about wrong with as far as how long it's been released, but I've had it for a long time. So this particular device was just kind of sitting there doing nothing, so I decided to give it a job. And that job was to record the final output and also add some gain back into my recording. So that's what the ultimate build ended up being, or that's how we ended up getting here. And then, of course, the supporting pieces for this are, of course, the microphones, the Saramonic plus the Rode. I do want to caution everybody that with this system, once again, this is kind of early stages. I did not test it out as extensively as I tested out the other box. And the same issue still exists. The Saramonics have a delay of 12 milliseconds. The Rodes have a delay of about 4 milliseconds. And those are both really fantastic numbers by themselves. But when you combine them, it's noticeable to where you can hear an echo between the two mics. So when somebody's talking into the Rode mic, and then you can hear the voice a little bit in Saramonic, you hear an echo. And then if somebody's talking directly to the Saramonic mic, and you can hear it a little bit in the Rode, you hear an echo. And it became a very distracting situation. So because of that, this is not a super concise solution anyway. But I do just want to let anybody know that if you do want to try to build a mixed mic system, you have to keep that in mind about the echo and the delay with the wireless system. If you have everything plugged in directly, I don't think there's any delay. You're just going straight into a cable. But given my circumstances, it was still going to be an issue. It's just that ultimately, the first issue to solve was to take all the tracks from their left and right respective sides and merge them into a mono, and then take it from the mono and put it into a final recording. And then from there, I can take that file and just post it. So that was the original thing. The other supporting pieces inside of here are the power bank and the USB powered USB hub. So these two components did make it into the final box, which is pretty cool. And of course, so did the Rode. But as far as the components are concerned, the power bank works essentially the same. The Zoom H5 and the Zoom H2, they both can run on power from the wall adapter from a power bank, which is pretty nice. So I can basically turn this on, make sure that these two are turned on, and they'll run on this battery instead of running on their own batteries inside of them. and that helps save on battery life. That helps make it a little bit simpler, and the power strip makes it pretty nice because I can plug the power strip in, and then I can charge the power bank, and then I can also charge the Saramonic case and the Rode case. So it gave me that flexibility of having a kind of a still, relatively simple solution to just charging everything, relatively simple solution to keeping things powered, and relatively simple solution for getting the audio recording. Now, of course, there's a few other issues to talk about. One of the other ones too is that this is an issue that I recently ran into again with the first time I recorded this. This is totally not the fourth time of me recording this video, but there is an issue that you have with any sound equipment that's running off the same power source, and that is something with noise. There's ground something, I forget the actual name. People who are more familiar with audio are very aware of this. People who are not as familiar with audio, just note that if you have two audio recording devices that are feeding off the same power source, it can cause issues where you hear noise in the background. And it actually showed up in my last recording, so that's why I'm re-recording this whole entire thing. But the solution for that is to have some kind of device like this that can break up the grounded audio, so you can still hear the audio, but it's able to add a break, so that way you're not getting a loop as far as electricity is concerned, to make that noise, that whining noise in the background. The issue with this, and the reason why we're not going to be listening to this directly, is that I only have one of these, and I need two of these. I need one for my actual recording setup, and I need one for the system. So because I only have one of these, and I can't get a second one quickly, I'm just gonna say that it sounds good. It sounds great. It sounds like a Zoom recorder. The Zoom does a really good job with their audio recording, and the audio recording sounds great, sounds fantastic, sounds good. I don't know how many praises I can give it, but that's what it sounds like. Unfortunately, you have to take my word for it, unless you have a Zoom H2 and H5 in. But they do both pick up audio pretty well. There is some noise that's introduced when you increase or decrease the gain, so you do have to keep that in mind. And because you're increasing the gain on this side, on the H5, and then possibly on the H2, you will have some noise naturally introduced into your recording. So that was another big issue. And ultimately for me, after I kind of gotten to this point where I put everything together and it looks kind of cool, I was like, you know what? Let me just scrap this idea. Let me just scrap this idea and just go ahead and start building this box. Mainly because the Zoom LiveTrack L8, which is what's here, the LiveTrack L8 gives you a lot of flexibility, a lot of features that particular build over there on the right hand side does not give you. And that ultimately is what led me to kind of moving from a handy recorder to the LiveTrack L8. Now, once again, I just want to emphasize as much as I can, if I had a LiveTrack L6, sorry, if I had a Zoom handy recorder H6, if I had an H6, which is the handy recorder 6, if I had the H6, I would probably do a build similar to the one that I'll link in the description below, with somebody who had a mic system with the Rode Go mics, the first ones, not the second ones, the ones you have to have one receiver for every transmitter. But I would build something similar to that, because it's very compact, it's very nice, it's very like sleek looking, and you have it all connected, have it all recorded on their separate channels, and you have the individual gains for every mic, so it works out perfectly. So I would build something similar to that. The issue is that, of course, with the H5, I don't have as much flexibility on that. I can build something close to similar to that, and maybe I will with my Saramonics and call it a day, so I can have a good use for those. But ultimately, it's not a workable solution. So that is the full answer as to why I decided to go for the LiveTrack L8. It gives me the features I want. It gives me the abilities, the controls, and all the other additional expandable abilities. Like I can bring in more audio sources if I need to. I can bring in a phone call if I want to. I can give the headphone out to everybody without having additional equipment. That was another thing too I should mention. Yes, definitely, because of this build, because all the audio is coming out of the handy recorder to the H2, the Zoom H2, I would have to find a solution for getting headphones out to the co-host so people can listen to themselves, and I would lose the ability to be able to give everybody their own custom audio levels. So the LiveTrack L8 once again gives you more features. It costs more money, but it gives you more features, and that feature is the ability to give out up to 4 different audio levels to people. So you can have the master, the mix A, B, and C. So you can give out 4 different audio sources to people. And for my podcast of 3 people, that's perfect. It's exactly the number I need. Plus 1 guest, so 4 people in the future. So this just gave me more flexibility. That's why I ultimately went for this instead of just going for that. But I do want to emphasize, and I feel like I've emphasized it enough, but I'm going to emphasize it one more time. This is a workable solution. This is doable. You can use an H6n and do the same thing. You can literally do an H6n with just 4 mics, and then you have a portable podcast setup. Like, that's all you need. But given that I wanted the flexibility, given that I wanted the portability, and given that I wanted the extra features, and I had the budget to account for it, I decided to go for this whole entire build. So that's kind of the answer to the question. And also, yes, I am very happy with the build as it is, and I'm very excited to be able to use it and see how well it flows in the future. So yeah, so that's it. I'll probably make another video post-recording of the first podcast episode, fingers crossed, so we can see, so I can let you all know just kind of how it went, how everything kind of flowed, and did it work out as well as I wanted it to, or did it not, and we'll go from there. All right, so that's it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it, and as always, I will see you all whenever.